is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It is a Wednesday here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with you on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is a big weekend coming up in Eugene this weekend, as both the Big Ten track championships and the Oregon softball regional will be just across the street from each other this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It'll be a big weekend. There's information on GoDucks.com to make sure that you can hit as much Oregon athletics as possible over this weekend, because it should be a big weekend in Eugene. It's also a big weekend on the road for Oregon baseball. The Ducks on the diamond have a chance to take home a Big Ten regular season championship. Granted, Oregon needs some help. The Ducks have to take care of business and sweep Iowa, and also need Northwestern to take at least one game from UCLA. But there is mathematical possibility, the way that Oregon's been playing lately, the Ducks winners of their last 7 games in a row, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that Oregon can sweep Iowa, despite the fact that the Hawkeyes have been stellar in Big Ten play. That's what's coming up for Oregon baseball. What's coming up on the show. We will have Oregon baseball media from yesterday. Also, Oregon softball met with the media today. We'll have that for you on the show tomorrow. Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach, as they prepare for this weekend. Big weekend for Oregon women's golf as they start the NCAA Championships on Friday. Derek Radley was in studio a few days ago talking with Joey Mack, previewing that. All that for you on the show today. But first, we start with baseball. Mark Wasikowski's crew, they just hit the road. They're going to Iowa. Keep in mind, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this weekend in Iowa. Joey Mack made the trip, so make sure it's a Friday, not Friday start. Thursday start, treated like a Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's the series against Iowa this week. Make sure to have it noted on your calendar for tomorrow. You don't want to miss a game, especially one as pivotal, because Grayson Grinsell is going up against one of the other horses in the race for Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, and could potentially, with a good start, in my opinion, lock up a Big Ten Pitcher of the Year nomination, because he's been just that good. Obermueller for Iowa has also been just that good. That's going to be the presumed matchup tomorrow. Granted, with everything moved up a day, not sure exactly how things will flip, but what we do know is it's a huge series for Oregon baseball, with everything out in front of the Ducks this weekend against Iowa. We're stepping aside, or actually, we're going to Coach Waz, who talked with the media yesterday and previewed this series for Oregon baseball as the Ducks hit the road and close out the regular season. Let's hear from Coach Wasikowski.
Coach, obviously, final weekend series, guys heading on the road, probably biggest series of the season. Big Ten regular season title on the line. How's the team feeling kind of for this last little test before postseason play begins for you guys?
Good. You know, I mean, it's exciting. It's nice when it seems like every weekend is the biggest series of the season, and you know, from going from UCLA to Oregon State to Washington to now this, and it's been good. You know, I mean, the guys, I think the locker room's in a really good place. You know, I love the team that I get to be around every single day, and we're looking forward to going out and competing against Iowa.
How the last couple of weeks, you've talked about the important series you guys have faced. How do you feel like these last couple of series have really helped grow you guys from a team that you talked early in the season was inexperienced to now a group that has clearly learned and gained a ton of experience facing these squads?
I guess just that, right? And the experience is helping us in a big way. And so the more we get and the more we get out of from the experience side against really good programs and against really good teams like we have. I mean, we've had, to start with Michigan to beat them 2 out of 3, and then to beat UCLA 2 out of 3, Oregon State 4 times in a row, and then Washington sweep them. In addition to that, the other West Coast team that we got a chance to play and sweeping USC on the road, that gives our guys the feeling that they can beat anybody. And so that confidence is clearly helping with the experience piece that we didn't have.
Can you kind of explain what's it like just watching this group blossom? Because, I mean, you've known all along they've had the talent, they've had the capability, and now you're seeing the results. What's it just like for you as a coach to see these young athletes just starting to thrive in their element?
Good question. I still don't think we've played our best. I think there's still more in the tank with the team. They're continuing to improve, but there's just such a high upside with the group that, I just still think there's a lot more in them.
What do you see from Iowa this year, just from afar, and then kind of as you dive into them?
Really good pitching, solid lineup all the way through, balance of left and right-handed hitters, dominant starting pitching, and there's a couple of relievers that are, really, really good. There's depth there.
Did you kind of dive into what Oregon State did last week to get Obermiller out in the first game, like what they tried to do?
We've watched every game that they've played, and we're almost through every game they played last year.
Have you guys changing the rotation at all with this lack of an extra day for Grayson, or is it still just going to be the same, like the normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Good question. We haven't even been to the practice field yet this week, and so we'll make that decision after practice today. But I'd hope we wouldn't have to shift a whole bunch around, but one less day shouldn't impact too much.
Is there any changing in the messaging for this weekend? Again, we kind of already hit it how important this series is, but with the Big Ten regular season title on the line, do you have to say anything to these group of guys, or do they kind of already know what's at stake, obviously? No,
we started and we said we needed to win something like 11 in a row or 10 in a row, whatever the number was back then, and it's just 1 in a row, 1-0 every day, and now we wanted, 3-0 for the regular season. We got 3 games left in the regular season, want to win them all, can't win them all in one day, just go 1-0 on that day, starting today in practice.
You saw Toby come in that high leverage spot, and you talked about it on Sunday. Just what do you feel like his role will be like for the next couple of weeks potentially?
Growing and just continuing to develop him and put him in the spots. Obviously we trust him. If we're bringing him into a tying run situation in the 9th inning of a conference game that we need to win versus their best hitter, that should tell Toby or anybody else in our clubhouse how much confidence we have in our players. I think that probably means a lot to a guy like Toby. He's an ultimate competitor, and I think he can really help us down the stretch. To get him back for this stretch run is I think, going to be a game changer.
So Drew Smith played some center field earlier in the week last week, then moves back to right field. Just how have you seen him progress as a defender from the beginning of the year, where he's probably the second baseman, then moves out to the outfield? Just how have you seen him progress?
Well, he's healthy now, and so he's athletic, and when he's healthy and he's athletic, he can play anywhere. He's a good center fielder. He can play anywhere on the infield. He's just a really skilled player, so we're lucky to have him.
You've had a handful of players that have been able to come back from injury. In their absence earlier in the season, you got a couple guys in that were able to get some of that experience. Just how is that depth going to help you as you head into your final Big Ten series and then into the Big Ten Conference tournament?
Yeah, good question. I think we hope that it helps out quite a bit, right? And when you didn't have a bunch of experience and then they were able to get those experience pieces, you really think that it can't hurt them. And they've really played well. When they've gotten their opportunities, they've played well. And now to get Meggers back, where he's swinging the bat well and he's playing well, that can only help us from his experience standpoint. Burke Mabius has really caught well. And as his receiving skills are so advanced, just his presence behind the dish has been felt. And I think that, the success of our pitchers, he probably doesn't get enough credit back there for helping those guys with their numbers and their performances be as good as they are, because he's stealing a lot of strikes back there.
And you talk about the locker room as being good right now. Do you think it's part of that, knowing that if one guy has a bad day, that you can put another guy in because you have that depth and experience? Or how have they kind of, because I can imagine that's probably tough for some of the guys to have an opportunity and then another guy comes back, they get an opportunity, kind of going back and forth. But how have they handled it?
That's been the key, right? Because early in the season, I don't think we handled it great. And now nobody really cares. Yeah, like when they get their chances, it's just like great. And when they don't get their chances, then their boy's in there and they're pulling for their boy. So And early in the year, it probably wasn't the unity that we're seeing right now and the excitement for others to succeed. It was probably more about ourselves. And for us to somehow be able to get past that, I really credit the older guys in the locker room to really help that chemistry piece behind the scenes, and the assistant coaches. I think they did a marvelous job of helping with that. When it was a little rocky, they stayed with them and didn't quit on the guys, and the guys didn't turn on each other. They actually grew together, which I think has been the biggest key to our success recently.
It's maybe a little too early, but with the roster changes going into next year, with the increase in scholarship and the limit on the roster number, how are you guys handling that or going about that at this point?
I'm not even thinking about rosters for next year, but the best players are going to be here, and we're going to have a heck of a roster moving forward. So, hopefully it'll be a roster each and every year. If I do my job, the roster should be one that, assuming we can catch some breaks, can win a national championship, and that's our goal.
With Carter, kind of struggled this last week at the dish. Obviously, we know about his defense, but how do you try to get him to be the hitter that he was earlier in the season and get some more contact out of him?
I leave that for the hitting side guys, with Martyr in them. I insert myself whenever I need to. And for me, for Carter to be a tremendous hitter, it's just real simple. He just has to just be the toughest out on the field, right? And if he just does that instead of trying to be a guy like Mason DeVille hitting the ball over the fence, I think you'll see your best Carter Garrotti. I think he'll win a Gold Glove at third base right now. He's playing that kind of elite level defense, which is clearly helping our team.
Yeah, how much does that defense help? Because you just talked about Carter, but Ryan and Maddox have been excellent at the middle. You were raving about Walsh and his area around the bag, and then your outfield. Just how much does that help as a coach, where you kind of don't really have to worry about what's going on defensively?
Well, you have to worry about it because you need to make sure they're sharp and right. Their first steps are good and they're still playing well. But we have been playing defense really well. Coach Hinkle's our infield coach. He takes a lot of pride in those infielders and getting them right. He's a tough guy. He's not an easy coach to play for. He's a guy that demands an awful lot. It's work with those guys. But I think they've embraced the whole concept of playing offense with a glove instead of standing out there and occupying space while they're playing defense and waiting for the next at-bat, which most players do when we first get them, and they've kind of transformed into offense with a glove kind of thing, and that's why you see a lot of our guys on SportsCenter top 10 every week making unbelievable plays, just like you saw Carter this last week and Walsh, and you've seen Arrows for 4 or 5 times this year. It's been fun to watch those guys' athleticism and be recognized on SportsCenter.
Going back to Walsh for a second, his power numbers are pretty darn similar to last year, but his walk rate I think is tripled at this point. How have you seen him just consistently take that throughout the year, not get in any ruts like he had the last couple of seasons in the second half, and just prolong his advanced plate approach?
I think he's just older. He just learned from, he didn't want to, he took the mistakes he learned in the past and said, I'm not going to do it again. I think you see him too as he walks to the plate. He converses with umpires now, instead of it always being a deal. I noticed that even this last weekend that, a young player may think that everybody is against them on the field, umpires, opposing team, and it's a lot. That's a lot of weight to carry. And when you really realize that the umps, they may screw some calls up, but those guys are out there trying their best. They're not trying to impact the game in a negative way. They're trying to go unnoticed, and I think he respects and has a pretty good perspective now on what everybody's role is at the ballpark, and I think that's just settled him in. He's just playing old.
We've seen a lot of Oregon teams win Big Ten titles. Why does this team that you coach deserve to win a Big Ten title, regular season title, this week?
Well, we haven't deserved it yet. We need to prove it. So that's our goal, is to prove that we're worthy of winning a championship, just like those other Oregon teams that have won championships. They had to earn it. And we embrace that. We need to earn it.
Oregon has an opportunity to earn it this weekend coming up against Iowa. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, 4 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. First pitch with a 3:45 pregame with Joey Mack. Also same time on Friday. So both Thursday and Friday's games will be a 4 o'clock first pitch, 3:45 pregame. And then on Saturday, it'll be the early game, 10 a.m. Pacific time first pitch with a 9:45 pregame show in the morning with Joey, trying to chase down a Big Ten regular season title. There's work to do. Oregon trying to earn it. Some players that are going to be on the field, going to put in a lot of that work to get Oregon to the title that they want to capture. We're getting to Oregon's infielder, outfielder, and maybe some pitchers. Coming up after this when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Wednesday. Just heard from Coach Wazakowski breaking down Oregon baseball series on the road to close the regular season this weekend against Iowa. He mentioned that Carter Garade is going to earn a gold glove at third base, and I agree with him. Carter Garade has played a stellar third base for Oregon across the entire season, and he has made some ridiculous plays defensively, all while being a productive bat at the bottom of the lineup, and there's a reason why Mason Neville has 50-plus runs batted in, because even though Neville's a leadoff hitter, the guys at the back of the lineup, including Carter Garade, are getting on in front of him. Oregon, they've won 7 in a row. The team has seemingly turned a corner. One of the leaders, Carter Garade, I think a big reason for that. Carter Garade spoke with the media yesterday ahead of the series.
What is the confidence level of this group right now after 10 of your last 11 you've won?
Yeah, it's good. You could just feel a different energy around the team in the dugout. Just coming in the locker room every day, everyone's now just expecting like a different level of winning. I know we've been winning all year. We've been finding ways to win, but just when it comes down to this year, you can really feel the difference between your team's really locked in or you're kind of like in between. But right now, everyone has that confidence level, and we're gonna find ways to win. Was there a moment in the season where you guys had maybe like a come to Jesus moment where you had to figure out what was going on and try to attack that? Is there one specific moment? I wouldn't say there's there's specific moments. It happens every year. I think every good team has that moment at some point, whether or not it's at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the year. But every team has that moment, and for us, I don't know, it kind of wasn't like okay, the sky's falling and now we got to figure it out, but kind of like okay, we're winning, but we're not winning how we want to, so let's just keep working to figure out how we can get to that. Every aspect is working. So
you talked about the confidence of this team just moments ago. Can you put in perspective what level of confidence is this team at, and just how important is it for you guys to be in that position heading into a weekend like this one where everything comes down to the line for a potential Big Ten regular season title?
Yeah, I would just say that everyone's ready for this moment. I would say that everyone's put in the work, that, you know, when it comes down to this moment, everyone is now ready to play. When these big games come, you know, the right people will show up, and I believe this whole team's ready for that moment.
How do you feel like maybe the last couple of weeks have helped you guys? Because, I mean, you guys have faced, you know, it seems like tough opponent after tough opponent, UCLA, Oregon State, obviously Washington a couple times. You know, made it interesting. How do you feel like that's kind of prepared you for this weekend and for postseason play that's coming up in just a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would say that we ran into the right part of the schedule at the right time. I'd say that having these kind of competition going into the end of the year is really good for us. We're figuring out, you know, different ways to win, whether it's with our arms, with our bats, and, you know, our defense has been so consistent all year. But we really know how we can win, and we can win in any way we need to.
This may be a dumb question, but when did you realize you were like a plus defender?
I guess just throughout my career here, really, they've really just given me that confidence and the keys to, you know, control that defense, and it's given me that confidence from that.
Are you ever unconfident when there's a ball hit your way?
No. It's kind of just a reaction and trust the work that we've been doing.
Why is it that Hinkle is a hard guy to be under as a coach? What does he do to kind of drive you guys in the infield, and I guess, you know, starting infield, everybody on the team to get to be the best?
Yeah, I feel like we've all grown a relationship with Hink, and, you know, he really does drive everyone to be better every single day. And I think that's what makes everyone better, is that there's just such an expectation when you walk in every day to that locker room, when you walk onto that field, that, you know, we're expecting greatness. So I just feel like this group, especially with our infielders and Hink, he gives us what we need to continue to grow.
Been some struggles for you at the plate recently. How do you try to keep a normal mindset when you go out there every time?
Yeah, I guess I've ran into a couple of you know, situations like this last year and my freshman year, but I feel like, you know, when it comes down to this time of the year is when I can show up and do whatever the team needs me to do. It's not necessarily that I got to go out and get hits every single day or driving runs, but it's doing my job, you know, to get Mason up to the plate with, you know, runners on. So whatever they need me to do, and that's what I'm focused on.
Building off of that, just how have you seen Coach described it as just the unity in the team and how that has grown this season, and maybe the mindset has kind of changed and morphed into kind of what you just talked about. Do you feel like in the locker room that's where it's at right now? Like, whoever it takes, whatever it takes to get the job done, our goal is to win, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, absolutely. We just know that anyone that steps on that mound or in the batter's box is ready to get the job done.
Oregon ready to get the job done. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, going up against Iowa to start their final regular season series of the year. We're talking to more players. Drew Smith coming up on the other side when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle.
Or forget extra diapers.
You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you, gearing you up for Oregon baseball's regular season finale series against Iowa, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week, starting tomorrow, 4 o'clock first pitch Pacific time, both Thursday and Friday, 4 o'clock first pitch. Oregon, throughout the back end of the season, has inserted a new cleanup hitter. It's been Drew Smith. When he got back from injury, he's been in the 4 spot of the lineup, and all Drew Smith does is hit. He has been swinging a hot stick at the plate, and he's been playing a pretty good outfield as well. Drew Smith spoke with the media yesterday.
We talked about this before, but again, just how is it in the outfield going from center to right? And you feel more comfortable in one spot, or is it just you're just still having fun out there?
No, I'm really enjoying it. Right's a little bit tougher than center. I'd say you see things a little bit easier out there, but at the end of the day, you're just catching a fly ball. So
we've tried to get Waz to talk about this, but what does he do so specifically well that has helped you and others become really good defensive outfielders?
Well, he knows what he's talking about for sure, but his fungo game's pretty impressive. He probably doesn't want to brag about it too much, but he can put that thing almost everywhere he wants. So we got all kinds of stuff on the wall, and you should see him hit his fungo. It's pretty ridiculous.
How you feel right now?
I feel pretty good. They're definitely working through some things and trying to get better every day, but I do feel good with my approach right now, and I think things are kind of lining up the way I want them to.
How has it been being the cleanup hitter? There's a lot of power on this team. I'm not saying that you don't have it, but you're not the prototypical power hitter in the 4-hole. Just how do you feel being there and kind of setting the table for the bottom half?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy it. I did it a little bit last year too, so it was nothing really new for me, but kind of just taking my role and going with it and just trying to get on base.
You kind of talk about, you've moved a little bit all over the outfield. We've had certain players move into different positions, get different opportunities at multiple different points throughout this season. Waz talked about how early in the year maybe the team didn't kind of buy into that as much. Maybe players are thinking of themselves, but now the team is really bought into. It doesn't matter when you're playing or where you're playing. All that matters is that you're out there and you're supporting teammates, and he feels like that's made a big difference. Do you feel like that's the case, and how do you feel like that's helped the team, especially in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's definitely helped. I think we just want to win. At the end of the day, as long as we win, I think everybody's pretty happy with the outcome, whether you're playing or not. And it's really just rooting for those guys, even if you're not sitting there and you're sitting there in the dugout and not playing. You can't really do much besides help that guy try and do his best. So I think everybody's really buying into it, and it's making us a better team for sure.
And how does that kind of make a difference, especially heading into a series like this one against Iowa, where everything's on the line? Big Ten regular season title, obviously. You guys can clinch that up with the sweep. How does that help get you guys ready for a moment like this?
Yeah, I think nailing it in previous weeks and then coming into this week is going to be very beneficial. Kind of just taking it as if it's another weekend. No added pressure or nothing. We know there's a lot to play for this weekend, but just take it day by day and good things will happen.
How has it been from your perspective as a hitter and as a fielder to see the bullpen improve so dramatically over the last 3-4 weeks?
It's baseball, so it's always tough, and they're going to run through some rough patches just like we have whenever we've been hitting, so it's our job to pick them up whenever it comes to that, and their job to pick us up whenever we're struggling. But they've been absolutely killing it, and their work's been nails, so I'm happy to see them doing well and getting the results that they want.
I know it's a theme, and maybe you care, maybe you don't, but obviously, the rankings, obviously one of them put you guys at number 3 this week. Obviously, there's a bunch of them that put you guys all over this place, but what does it mean for you just to see the recognition from at least some outlets that you guys are, in the top 5, and after a long journey within this program to be, nationally recognized as one of the best teams right now in the country?
Yeah, it's great to see that kind of exposure and that kind of stuff, but West Coast baseball is really good, and I don't think people give it as much credit as it should, but we don't make the rankings, we don't do any of that stuff, we just play baseball. So
Cole kind of struggled there on Sunday, but before that he's been lights out. I want to know from your perspective specifically as a right-handed hitter, what's it like to face Cole in the box?
It's almost impossible, but I faced him a couple times in the fall. I don't think I got a hit, so I think putting anything in play against him is honestly a win, but I know it's hard to come out 3 days in a row on a weekend, so not to say that I'm surprised he struggled, but I mean, it's really tough coming in 3 days in a row out of the bullpen, short rest, the whole thing. So he gave us a chance to win that game, and that's what we did.
Building off of that, you've just had multiple players. I think you were one of them that came back from injury during the season. Was that at the beginning of the season? I think, like Brett mentioned, like it was a little bit hard for the team. But how would you just describe where the locker room is at now, being one of those players that had to come back and earn their spot, and just kind of the depth that this team has? And does that take any pressure off? How have you handled it? How has the mindset gotten better throughout the season?
I think we really just nail our recovery work and all that kind of stuff. But like I said earlier, everybody's pulling for each other. Everybody wants everybody to do well. It's not like we got one guy on the team that's, oh man, I hope this guy doesn't do good today so I can play tomorrow. We just really all want to win.
Have you given any thought at all about MLB draft or coming back next year? Has that crossed your mind yet?
I mean, a little bit, but I'm really just trying to focus on today and kill practice today and weights, and we'll see where that goes in a couple months. But I'm not really too worried about it. I'm worried about right now.
That's Drew Smith. He's been a big impact player in the field, at the plate, since coming back from injury about midway through the season. A pitcher that just came back from injury earlier last week, Toby Twist. He could be a big factor for Oregon's bullpen down the stretch, was inserted into some big spots over the last few games. Toby Twist, he also spoke with the media yesterday.
You get your first appearance of the season on Tuesday. What was that like?
It was great. It felt really good just to be back out there. No arm pain, arm felt live, and just really good to be put in that situation.
Did you have Tommy? Was that the
Tommy John? Yes.
So what was that rehab process like for you the last year, really?
Yeah, very long year, very short. Just kept family and friends very close. They kept me through it, and it's really good process.
Was there anybody on the team who kind of helped maybe guide you through that or helped you along the way and tried to keep your headspace right?
Yeah, I would say a lot of older guys from last year, Isaac Aon, RJ Gordon, that have been through kind of the similar situations, and just a lot of guys pulling for you this year. So we have a good group of guys.
How do you feel like you did in your start on Tuesday, and how do you feel like you did with getting Casey Taggart out there on Sunday?
I felt good. I felt confident. Really good just to be back out there.
What did it mean to you where it's a high leverage spot? Waz calls upon you and Hawk calls upon you out there to get that one out. What did that mean to you? It's your second appearance of the year.
Yeah, it was really good to get called out. Waz told me at the beginning of that day that I was going to face that lefty, so I was just ready to face him whenever.
Just wondering, when you come back from major injury like this, were there any nerves or anything that you were feeling when you went back out of the mound? And kind of, how did you kind of get over that initially when you went back out there?
I would say definitely a lot of nerves. You just overcome those, a lot of butterflies. But it was just really good to be back out there, definitely. Just compete.
Yeah, Waz talked about earlier in the season when, there was a little bit more rotation because of the injuries, that maybe the players didn't buy into all the movement that was going on. But he said that now it feels like everybody's buying in. When somebody's out there for their first opportunity, the team is getting behind them. It doesn't matter who's out there. How do you feel like that's changed in the last several months of play, and how important do you feel like that kind of cohesion and supportiveness has been in your guys' success over the last several series that you guys have played in?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are buying in towards the end of the season. Guys are getting hot at the right time, and it's just getting fun to watch.
Have you kind of been able to support the pitching staff while not being able to play kind of the beginning of the season and watching them grow to, the confidence that you guys are, as a staff, are playing with now?
Just kind of mentoring them and telling them what they need to get better on during bullpens and stuff like that. Just little things.
Is it tough for you when the bullpen was kind of struggling there in early April and you just weren't able to get out there and help them?
There wasn't a struggle at all. We just needed to get better as a group, and we definitely did that.
When it comes to coming back to at this moment, I mean, everything comes down on the line. First potential Big Ten regular season title is on the line this weekend. When it comes to you to be back here for this moment, just what does that mean to you, and what does it mean to this team to have the opportunity to win another big title like many of the other Oregon Duck teams have already done throughout this year so far?
Yeah, I think it's great for the program. It starts off today with practice, and we're just going to be ready for what's in front of us.
So you popped a 94 there, I think, on Sunday. Just how's your arm strength compared to what it was last season? Do you feel like you're still growing, or do you feel like it's kind of back to where it was?
I feel like I'm definitely improving every outing and just throughout the weeks. I feel really good.
What's your pitch mix? Are you still heavy fastball slider guy?
Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup.
Toby Twist, back from injury, could be a big factor for Oregon down the stretch run of this season. Weekend series Thursday, Friday, Saturday against Iowa. Also a big weekend for Oregon women's golf. NCAA Championships are this weekend. Coach Radley joined us in studio a few days ago. Get into that conversation when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, the summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, the summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I look through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Ryan Milano with you on a Wednesday. Yesterday, Joey Mack was in studio with Derek Radley, fresh off a Big Ten championship, also gearing up to play in the NCAA Championships starting on Friday. Big weekend for a whole lot of programs. Derek Radley with some new hardware was in studio yesterday.
Look at this trophy. Look at this thing. Okay, so here's what happens when you ask, hey, Coach Radley, like let's get you on. Let's talk a little women's golf. National championships are coming up. Like let's do it. And then what happens is Coach Radley just walks through the hall carrying a trophy. I mean, look at this thing, Coach. So where's it going to live permanently now?
Very proud, very thankful. This is going to live at the Jake.
Love it.
So excited to put this on the shelf. So proud of the hard work that our student athletes have put in, and pretty so awesome to bring it back to Eugene.
Congratulations to the Big Ten Conference champion, Derek Radley. Hey, thanks for being here,
Thank
buddy.
you, Joe. I appreciate you, bud.
All right, so since we last spoke, I mean, a few things have happened. Now you're getting ready to go to a national championship round. You're familiar. Your student athletes are familiar. But let's back up a little bit. Coach of the Year, how's that feel?
It's amazing, but it's not me. Our student athletes they make me look good. And, they work so hard. I'm so proud of them. I'm so excited that, they're getting all the success that they deserve. And, they dump water on me in celebration.
So great.
But it's really about them and their efforts and, all the hard work that has gone into this.
Okay, and then also, we did get a little bit of behind the scenes from Jody Sykes and from Kiara Romero, but I have to ask your perspective on this too. You also have the Big Ten Golfer of the Year in Kiara Romero. She wins the championship. Yeah, congratulations again to Kiara. She wins the Big Ten championship, and I know that it had been a thing that she wasn't watching the scoreboard, didn't know where she was, but then there's this great shot. I don't know if you've seen it, but when the Big Ten Network was covering it live, they had the camera, and all of you guys were kind of giddy, like hiding the water bottles.
Yeah.
And then as Kiara walks by, she sees you, and you just see Jody go, oh, and Jody spins
I haven't
out of
seen
the way.
that. That's awesome.
I was watching it actually in the baseball broadcast booth,
Yeah.
and I was watching it live, and so I got to get your perspective now. Like, you guys, you tried to hide it from her as long as you could, huh?
So we had the Cart Barn guys. They brought out a big pallet of bottled water, and we tried to hide it with coats and and behind us, and then Kiara, talked about a game plan change because she had 5 second-place finishes. Right. She's like, I don't think I'm going to watch the leaderboard this year, or in that final round, and it worked. And it worked. And so anyway, we grabbed the water bottles and we were trying to hide them, and she really truthfully had no idea where she stood. And so once she saw us trying to hide them from her, I think she picked up that okay, I got it.
But it took until the 18th. I mean, she's approaching on the 18th green, and it's like, But is there a better feeling than that? I mean, just to even have that environment there, that's cool.
Just awesome. And the Big Ten, they welcomed us with open arms. It was absolutely a first-class tournament. It was all the way across the country in Baltimore, Maryland. Right. But they were great, and they really welcomed the 4 new teams. And it was just a lot of fun, and there's so much work that goes into it. And finally, as Kiara's walking up that final hole, it's just like almost a sense of like, oh my goodness, we did it, right? And so was really excited to run down on the green and soak her with water, and they came after me too and tried to get me wet.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
And so just very, very proud.
I mean, look, we don't have the Gatorade giant Gatorade bin on the golf course.
Not in golf,
but
no.
I mean, I'm here to make a motion that we should just get you one other time as a result of there not being the giant Gatorade bath, okay? So just keep that in mind, maybe. Look over your shoulder every now and then, if you don't mind. Derek Radley joining us. So, it's fun to review and talk about it. And, I know you're a big believer, and like I always say, it takes a village to broadcast everything. And, that's what it's been to get to this point, right? And it's a chance to kind of celebrate that a little bit, isn't it?
It is, and our just want to give a big shout out to our amazing staff who have worked so hard. Starting September 1st when our Ducks reported to campus, Jody Sykes, who has traveled with us every tournament this spring, has just absolutely been a huge help, and couldn't do it without her. And Coach Kalia Romero, who's really stepped in now as a grad assistant, has been our full-time assistant. Really excited for Coach Chrissy Carmen, who's been at home. We include her in the group chat. She's been cheering us on, even though she's on maternity leave. They have a beautiful little baby girl, Winnie Lou. And so Clay Jamison, who's our medical trainer, because we've had some injuries throughout the spring season. Really excited. He's going to be able to come with us to the national championship. So Clay will be there. When I told the team, they started screaming in excitement.
That's cool.
Our strength and conditioning coach, we have a new one, Daryl Hunter, who also works with baseball. Our student athletes are looking stronger than ever. Really cool. He loves golf too. And Daryl's actually been coming out and practicing with the team, playing golf. He's just so invested in.
How's the short game?
We're working on it. He hits it like 340.
I'm sure he does. I mean, Daryl Hunter's in some of the best shape of anyone I've ever seen.
Oh, my goodness. I told him when I first met him, I was like, man, it's like looking in a mirror. Not really. Yeah.
Thurston's finest, by the way. Daryl Hunter.
Yeah.
Oregon baseball's first ever commit in the modern era. Pitched at Oregon, has now worked in the department of strength and conditioning. He's an awesome guy.
I promised him I'd get in the weight room this summer. We'll see.
Get the bulk. What's the driver distance for you then?
Yeah, not what he's got.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
I mean, he swings it. So we have this little device in the strength and conditioning facility downstairs here in the CAS, and you can check your swing speed, right? So you're swinging like a speed stick.
Oh, yeah.
And Kiara's over there ripping it, and she can get it up to like 114, 115. I'm cutting it loose as hard as I can. I'm at like 120.
Right.
He comes over, Daryl does, and just super easy, like 150.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm like, holy cow,
Strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
Strength and conditioning
awesome.
coach. But how valuable to like even unpack this a little further? How valuable is that aspect? I mean, you mentioned like getting stronger. I mean, that's a big part of your game, I'd imagine.
It is. I think that we play so much throughout our season from, 4 events in the fall to 8 events that we play in the springtime. And so staying healthy is the most important thing. So everything we do in the weight room is to try to stay healthy. If we get a little stronger, great. I've definitely noticed our athletes swinging a little bit faster since Coach Darrell's taken over in the weight room. But, more importantly, I think we just try to keep safety and healthiness at the forefront.
Well, and shoot, I mean, you talk about how injuries are the worst part of sports, right? I mean, everyone goes through them, and they are the worst part. But that conditioning part, it's not just the strength, right? It's that conditioning that you're alluding to.
No doubt. And, and golf is so mental, right? So if you're physical, if you feel good when you're out there for that really long tournament of playing, however many shots you're hitting, usually that can help the mental piece as well.
Yeah, regional review, though, I do have to ask you. I mean, we talk about, like, celebration in the Big Ten. I mean, the truth is that there wasn't a lot of drama in your regional. Did you feel that way as a coach?
Boy, I'll tell you. I was very, very thankful for a smooth sailing region.
There it is. Well said.
That week is, it's challenging. I've been certainly on the other side of it. So just a feeling of gratitude to cruise through. I mean, when you throw a 62 on the scoreboard, that certainly helps.
Tied the program record for best round ever, Kiara Romero.
Just unbelievable, bud. They all we were there to win. And I think they've had a lot of confidence from the success that we've had this season, which, as a coach, you hope that carries over when it matters the most. And was really, really proud of our ladies for going and just sticking to our game plan, not getting shook. And so I just kind of sat back and was just feeling very, very thankful to cruise through that regional.
So I asked that because I was talking to Rob Mullins, and he and I were kind of joking, like, it's nice to have kind of an easier regional. And it was like, well, I don't think a coach ever feels quite that way, But once you could exhale, that was a nice performance, wasn't it?
It was really cool. So Coach Casey Martin texted me the night before the final round, and he said, D, you have one job tomorrow. It's to make sure the scorecards are signed correctly.
Yeah.
And so
it's such a Casey Martin
isn't that
thing
great
to
comment?
say.
And so as everybody's walking up 18, I'm like, triple check your scorecard,
Right.
2 signatures, make sure the hole by hole is correct, and you just want to make sure you dot your T's and cross your I's when you're coming down the stretch.
Big deal.
It's a big deal.
Right? Big deal. It's like the housekeeping, right? You got to make sure that you
That's
get
right.
your bookkeeping more accurately correct. Coming up on Friday, the NCAA Championships begin in Carlsbad. Derek Radley joining us. So, I'm curious, like, you've gone through this now as a coach. A lot of your student athletes have gone through this now. Does it slow down? Like, you hear people say, oh, it slows down when you're more experienced and you know what to expect. Have you experienced that this year, Coach, now in a couple postseason tournaments?
Yeah,
is the experience helpful?
For sure. I think seeing the golf course is helpful.
Sure.
And so, knowing what we're going, what San Diego's going to play like La Costa is where the national championship is. And, last year it was extremely firm. The greens were, like drive away. I mean, they were brand new. So, judging that first hop, some different clubs off tees, it's definitely easier going back, knowing kind of our strategy, what it was last year, and then trying to implement what, we're doing in our strengths, to try to just give us our best chance when we go down. I don't know if it slows down to answer your question, right?
Yeah.
It certainly seems fast and like, holy cow, we're already going to be at the national championship. But I'm thankful that we did, see the golf course and had all that success last year, making it, to the Final Four, and hoping to get back there this year.
Well, to that point, like, even what to expect with the format, right? The media attention.
Right.
Like, I'd imagine that's helpful for student athletes.
For sure. Nate Kruger, our SID, he's a rock star, so he'll be down there with us, and he's great at navigating all that, right? Especially if we keep going and having the success we do. But yeah, managing the interviews and the cameras in your face, and thankfully all of our Ducks have played on the big stage before, and they're used to it, and so it's just I'm thankful, though. I'm thankful that Golf Channel covers it.
Me too.
And it is just so awesome what our championship has turned into for women's college golf. And, I've received so many supportive text messages through the success that we've had this postseason. And I'm so excited that all those friends and supporters will be able to, if they can't make it in person, watch it on TV.
Yeah, that's what makes it cool. I mean, because it makes it, to me, it's such a larger spectacle now, which is what it should be for student athletes, right?
It's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I can remember my first couple years coaching. It wasn't, and it was stroke play back in the day, and then it switched over to match play, and it's just the team atmosphere is just so fun. if you can make it in that top 8, you know, and advance to match play. It's really, really special. And it's really what you work hard for all years to try to get back there. And so I certainly don't take it for granted if, you know, the years that we do have that opportunity to get back.
So NCAA Championships for fans, again, beginning on Friday, a few rounds of stroke play. The field trims to 15, another round of stroke play. Field trims to 8, also have an individual national champion at that point, then match play, and things get fun down the stretch. What have you taken away from going through the format before? Are there strategies? Are there different things you do from a team perspective? Take fans through the process.
Yeah, it's a lot of golf.
So it's a lot of golf.
You know, if you're one of the last 2 teams standing, it's 8 rounds of golf in 7 days. So rest is the most important part.
Yeah.
Hydration, eating right, just sleeping, taking care of yourself. Like I said, Clay Jamison, our athletic trainer, is coming with us, so really excited and thankful to be having him down there. Coach Darrell is also going to be with us if any of them want to go get a little workout in the weight room. So, yeah, just taking care of their bodies so that their minds can be right through all of that golf that we're playing that week, you know, this next week.
I'm looking forward to it, Coach. I can't thank you enough for always taking the time, bringing in a new prop, at least for the segment. You know, look, this is awesome. Congratulations. And hey,
really excited for Coach Missy Lombardi, too. How about that?
Pretty
Got
sweet.
one. Let's go.
And Big Ten Championships for track and field are here coming up this
weekend.
weekend.
That's right.
So, I mean, you talk about another Big Ten trophy might get added to the collection here. This was number 6, by the way. Well done.
How about that? Just thankful to do our part.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah. What else should fans know?
Just appreciate all the support. Tune in to Golf Channel next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll be on coverage. So we'll be rocking our yellow hats. That's our good luck. So we, you know, in the Big Ten Championship, we have a green that's a little bit darker shaded green with it's awesome pullover from Nike or golf shirt from Nike. And I was like, all right, ladies, we're playing a final group with Michigan State tomorrow, and this is sort of their green
color.
So they're going to probably wear a white hat, green shirt, white bottoms. And then Kiara was like, let's rock the yellow hat. I was like, I love it. And so we rocked the yellow hat with the green shirts. Excited to hopefully wear that on TV and showcase what we can do.
That's sweet. Well, you got a fun team to watch. Duck fans all be tuning in throughout the weekend into next week. NCAA Women's Golf Championships. Coach, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you.
Go Ducks.
Derek Radley, Big Ten Coach of the Year, going to the NCAA Championships coming up this week, starting on Friday down in Carlsbad, California. And there is some more women's golf news on the horizon. We'll tell you about it when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable.
It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, closing out the show here on a Wednesday ahead of a busy weekend for a whole host of Oregon athletic programs. We just heard from Coach Derek Radley before his team goes and heads down to California for the NCAA Championships starting on Friday. And if Oregon advances all the way to the end of those NCAA Championships, it could go until Wednesday. Coach Radley already took home Big Ten Coach of the Year honors, and also released yesterday Coach Radley up for the National Coach of the Year. He's on the watch list on the WGCA National Coach of the Year watch list, Derek Radley, and he has put together a pretty successful season headlined by a lot of successful players, including Kiara Romero. Continues to do it not only in an Oregon uniform and Duck team events, but also in her own individual amateur prowess, as Kiara Romero yesterday won the 2025 U.S. Women's Open qualifier at the Arrowhead Golf Club. She continues to be one of the top performing amateurs in the entire country, and she won the U.S. Open qualifier, the U.S. Women's Open qualifier yesterday. Congratulations to Kiara Romero. Hopefully she can continue to take home some big-time hardware as the national championships continue to roll forward for women's golf starting on Friday. The regional round starts for Oregon softball starting on Friday as well, and Lindsey Grine is on another big-time watch list, the USA Softball Top 10 Player of the Year. She is a finalist, one of 10 players in the country named to that watch list. Lindsey Grine has been dominant in the circle for Oregon this season. Looking forward to her, seeing her this weekend at the Jane in postseason play. In postseason play as well, Oregon men's golf closed up their season today at the Auburn Regional in the NCAA Regional Round. Oregon finished today with their best round of the weekend, shooting 5 over as a team, finished 26 over through the 54 holes, and ended up 16 strokes back of the cut line. And that will be the conclusion of Oregon men's golf season in the regional round for Casey Martin's squad. So it'll be at Hayward Field for the Big Ten Championships this weekend, at Jane Sanders Stadium for the Eugene Regional this weekend. It will be Oregon baseball starting tomorrow at Iowa, and Oregon women's golf in the national championships. Breaking down softball on tomorrow's show. Bye, everybody. Go Ducks.
Put your phone on D&D.
Nailed it.
Disturb when you're driving and when you're going from point A to B. I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means do not disturb when you're driving and when you're going from point A to B. I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project